We rolling?
Yeah,
You hear me?
yeah. You hear me?
Yes, I hear you well. Yes. All right. You lagging. Well, damn it, if you don't like the lagging, get off. I didn't do it. All right. I may be rude, but your motherfucking ass gone, bitch. And just when you thought it may be safe, it is absolutely, positively not. And good Thursday evening to you. Welcome again to Steel, the most controversial television talk show anywhere on the planet. Thank you so very much for being here. Got another exciting show and a very controversial show. Let me say something. Memphis, Tennessee is probably one of the most politically corrupt cities in America. You cannot trust the white politicians, and you damn sure can't trust black politicians. We cannot trust black politicians to fight for us, and especially this new generation of black leadership who, for their own self-aggrandizement, they cling to the agendas of white folk who are in the majority, who are in the minority, excuse me, who know that some of these Negroes are so ambitious that they sell black folk out for a quote. Before I get into what I'm really talking about tonight, which is going to deal with some real corruption here in Memphis, and I have a guest. This political season that we're about to engage in here in the city elections, especially in this mayor's race, there's a new name of another Negro that wants to jump in the mayor's race. Justin Ford. That name is circulating, that Justin, who never pays campaign workers, who does not work hard, who has depended on his last name to be a county commissioner. The word is circulating around in political circles that Justin Ford, who knows he has absolutely no chance of winning, wants to jump in this race. Well, Justin, I invite you in, man, so I can tear your ass cat raggedy. Because you see, I know you filed 13. Okay? So come on in if that's what you want to do. See, what I'm seeing here in this mayor's race, we're getting all of these people in the race that have no chance, no remote chance to win. I don't know what the reasons are. I don't know whether they're being paid to get into this race? Is the Strickland camp so nervous that the more niggas the merrier? When I look at Tammy Sawyer and her little campaign and the people that I've talked to, it's fizzling. The biggest threat to Jim Strickland is Dr. Harrington. Tammy Sawyer's getting in the race. Yes, she's going to get a certain amount of millennial votes, but millennials have a record of not going to the polls. They don't vote. Yes, she's going to get the LBGT. What is the initials, Dale? LQB, the gate. Okay, I get. I ain't being disrespectful. I just get all them alphabets confused. The gay community, her community is going to cling to her, so she'll get that vote. But that's the vote that Jim Strickland would receive. Tammy's being in the race is going to pull a certain number of votes from Jim Strickland. Well, someone said, well, the white folk ain't gonna vote for Dr. Harrington. Well, there's a lot of white folk that don't support Jim Strickland. Jim Strickland joined in with Tammy Sawyer to take the dead white folk out the park, them statues. So you've got a segment of that clandestine, that white supremacists, them folk them Confederate folk, that's mad at Jim Strickland. They're mad at Tammy Sawyer, and either they're going to vote for Harrington or not vote at all. Then you got, what's the boy's name? Jermichael Wilson? Huh? Love Michael, okay. See? Love Michael Wilson, nice enough fella. He said, I went to school with his mama in Manassas. I think she was one of them big leg majorettes. But he has no chance of winning. I could have supported the young man running for city council. He can't win. Then you got several other little no-name folk that got high at the club and said, I'm gonna run for mayor. They had to be high. They had to be on some of that new dope, okay? What they call it, synthetic or something. They had to be on that new weed or something. Look, this is the reason that black folk cannot succeed in our community, because we have a deep hatred for each other that will not allow us to see the best man win. We don't want to see that. Willie Harrington has a proven record of service. Where do all these other folk come from? Then I hear folks say, well, we need some new blood. But we don't need y'all training on us. Okay? No, don't train on us. Don't be like Mikey. What that little commercial? Mikey eat it. You know, you scared of everything. You send Mikey out to eat it first. No, we need you to have a proven record of service before you come around here. But it's going to be an interesting year, and I share with you that there will only be 2 races that I really give a damn about, that I'm going to be involved in personally. That's the mayor's race, naturally, and city council district number 6. Okay, I'm going to be involved with my good friend Edmund Ford Sr. I'm going to be involved. The rest of them is every man for himself. look like even in the city court clerks, I'm hearing 5, 6, 7, 8 names in there. Black folk. Black folk. So an unknown white man can get in there with 8 white folk, and guess what? He'll win because black folk like to cut the pie in too many pieces. But what I share with you is, y'all come on, bring me some money. Those of you that's running for office, and see, here's a mistake some of y'all running. I don't think you can pick up your petitions to run till May 18th. Some of y'all don't nobody know. And y'all need to be out right now letting people know who you want. Let me tell you what gave Floyd Bonner the advantage and why he's the sheriff today. That year, that was last year too, was it? Yeah. Floyd came to me and his group came to me in January. They started promoting and advertising and branding in January of last year. So that when they pulled the petitions in May or whatever time it was, his name was already out there. His name was a consistent name nightly on the most watched black media in town, the Thaddeus Matthews Show. Everybody knew his name by the time they didn't know his face, but they knew by the time the process started, they had heard the history, the service of Floyd Bonner. Floyd Bonner and many of the men and women of the sheriff's department would tell you that he's sheriff today because he was smart enough to start early and smart enough to come here where he could get promoted and pushed and branded on a nightly basis. All y'all got to do is bring me some money. That's all you got to do. You got to bring me some money. Y'all got to do me like y'all do the white people. Y'all take the white people money. Y'all count up. You set aside what you're going to take to the white TV station. And then you stupid enough to think that you can bring me the crumbs. What can you do for 500? I can tell you to get them out of my face. Ain't nothing I can do with 500. Ain't nothing I can do with 1,000. Ain't nothing I'm gonna do with 1,500. Ain't nothing I'm gonna do with $2,000. And you running for office. Okay? Ain't nothing and it's according to how hard you want me to push you, how hard you want me to brand you. I have the capabilities with this show of branding you. And I ain't taking nobody that, first of all, you ain't got no money. Second of all, you ain't got no remote possibility of winning you because you have no service. Anybody that I get behind and I say, vote for them, this is a good person to vote for, you're going to have to prove to me that before I take your money, that you're the candidate. Now, everybody can advertise. Everybody can advertise. But if I'm going to push you and say, look, this guy's a good guy, we done met, you done proved to me, I've seen your record of service, you brought me your resume, and I've checked your service, then I can say, now, this guy can win. But all of you folks jumping in the same race, it brings a disadvantage to the black community. Okay. Are y'all gonna listen to me? Hell no. Y'all gonna do what the hell you want. Just bring me, don't even call me if you ain't got no money. Okay. No politician should even pick up his phone and call me if you don't have no monies. Okay. You got to have some monies. Okay. Yes. I ain't having no conversation with none of you unless you're saying, Thaddeus, I want to come by your office and I want to take a little bit of your time and I got a little something for your time and I'm going to be looking for your support. I will not support anybody that don't spend no money on the Thaddeus Matthews show. You dead to me. You don't exist. And if somebody comes along and they're a better candidate and they bring me their money, well, I'm just gonna have to tell people I don't think that's the person we need. Justin Ford can't bring me no money. Justin Crooked. I'm telling you. Everybody that know Justin Ford know he ain't gonna pay nobody. Ain't gonna pay. He ran last year. I ran 13 people last year. 9 of those 13 won. Justin paid me. What was he running for last year? Hell, I done forgot. He lost. Justin wouldn't work. He wouldn't work his own campaign. He paid me, but I met him at the bank. You ain't gonna give me that one of them damn checks, cause Justin Ford's checks are made by Firestone Rubber Company. They bounce, or Michelin or somebody. A Justin Ford check ain't no damn good. There's still folk from the last campaign that he still owe for working. Then bring them folk no chicken, no Coca-Cola, then bring them no water, and it was hot out there. They had to eat other folks' chicken. Okay, so no, I'm ready to do business with any candidate that wants to do business. But don't come to me talking about I got $2,000. Take that to the white boys. Okay, take that to them. Take that to the white boys. See, y'all will take $10,000 and $15,000 to the white boys. Then some of y'all pay $10,000 to be on a ballot. And y'all think y'all can bring me $2,000 and I'm gonna get happy about it? Hell no. Now, if you think that you ain't gonna have all your money at once, we got a layaway program. We can lay away your commercial. Bring me a down payment on your advertising. Got to be at least $1,000 down payment. I ain't got but $500. Well, wait and get you another $5, and then you come on, see what needs to be said. Okay. I got a guess, but tomorrow night, I may deal with this tomorrow night because I can't deal with this now because I got a guess. You don't understand how important it is for black folk to have their own media. You don't understand. I am thoroughly insulted that Facebook has decided to ban the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan because of his positions. Yeah, I guess I'll be next. We've got to create our own social media entities because Zuckerberg, is that his name, Zuckerberg? Ain't that his name there? Zuckerberg, sucking on something, I don't know. They'll let black fights stay up on social media. You can screw on social media. But whenever black men start to talk about black empowerment and explaining to you that the white establishment does not love you, then they want to ban you. When under my main Facebook page that I had for years, that I had nearly 300,000 followers, I stayed in Facebook jail, I think 10 months last year. Because whenever I said something they didn't like, hell, I'm in Facebook jail for 30 days. But we must create our own mediums, and that's the reason I tell you that the most important source of news that y'all have in the city of Memphis is the Thaddeus Matthews Show. Y'all don't give me no respect. Y'all don't spend your money with me. But when you want to know what's going on, this is where you come. But I will deal with that another night. Okay. Tonight, I'm going to deal with corruption on Beale Street. I've given you the story. Now, the city of Memphis is in cahoots with an attorney by the name of John Elkington, who was the former attorney for years for the Beale Street Development Corporation, the black corporation that went to Washington and bought back $23 million. The reason that Beale Street is the Beale Street that it is today is because a group of black folk went to DC and brought back $23 million. They joined in partnership with the city of Memphis because the property belonged to the city of Memphis. But according to the federal contract that they received, when the city of Memphis accepted the $23 million, I think that was 1982, when they accepted the $23 million, there was a clause in the contract, in the lease agreement, that I have a copy of on my desk that I ran out and left on my desk. There is a clause in there, was it 50 years? 52 years, that the Beale Street Development Corporation were the owners of and control the master leases on that street. But understand, in 1982, first of all, the white folk and the white administration, the Chandler made well, because Chandler left office to become a judge where he was screwing that black news reporter. That's a whole nother story too. She had to leave town. I think he got her pregnant and stuff. But anyway, that's old news. Y'all don't know the history of that. They were not going to let black folk control $23 million. So Wyatt Chandler's law clerk, white boy by the name of John Elkington, was placed over the black folk. Well, he's supposed to get a little piece. The city was supposed to get theirs, and Beale Street Development Corporation never got that piece. City didn't never get their piece. The part that really has me upset is, and this has went on for years, the Black City Council never got involved because the Beale Street Merchants Association, every election, gave major donations to everyone that was on the council. Ricky Pete was then the president of the Beale Street Merchants Association, which I always felt was a conflict because he was also a city councilman. But what they're doing right now is just downright dirty. And I've got the widow and now the president of the Beale Street Development Corporation, Miss Lucille Catron, here in the studio. And she's going to tell you the dirty deeds that are being done right now. Will a black councilman set up? Hell no. They all scared. Will the mayor of this city, Jim Strickland, will he step up and say, I'm going to do something about this? Hell no. Because Jim Strickland is just a puppet and he dances on the strings of white power brokers in this community. There is no such thing in this city as a black power broker. We have no black power brokers. All of our black elected officials dance to the music of white folk in this city. You have no council people who have the balls to come up against white folk in this city. That's the reason this city that is majority black is in the condition that it's in is because we do not fight for black folk. We say, well, I have to work with my constituents. We're going to take a commercial break, and then when I come back, Ms. Lucille Catron will be my guest. Do I need to move over some?
Yeah, to your left.
Melissa Sharina gone.
One of the most profound and admirable statements made by Dr. Harrington while Mayoral was when he told people to get the hell out of politics.
Well, you got that. Anything I need?
The latest, most recent, this is your copy.
That's the way you feel also.
That's the judge order.
That says that it comes in all colors and various colors.
Highlighted.
Look around your community, look at the crime.
The city tried to
It's time to
pull
get
one
the
over the
hell
judge.
out of our office. The cost of this t-shirt is just $20 and $2 for sizes over 2X. And can only be purchased at Negative Liberation and Empowerment Ministry, 3835 Raleigh Milton Road, or order online at Negative LE.
He's already gone, Selena.
When you're looking for the best soul food in town, the only place to find, whether you're in South Memphis or you got this first drive all the way towards town, stop and save
city has absolutely zero interest able to be negatively impacted by the ESPC. So we, the judge, bankruptcy judge allowed, we assign, we accept that.
Okay.
But the city went to this judge here and told this judge that court, for me to get rid of all the case congestion.
Okay.
And that's what, he speaks very hard. And then the final is that judge ruled in our favor. That was a big one. And you can see,
You probably you won't stop. You're gonna spread that and I know who's good.
How many more?
That's why I know if we get five.
Okay, I will give it a go.
If it's something you don't understand, you will explain. You use the nationwide warrant, I'll put it out back. No place for it. And I'll come in for the bill, two states and the place. And over there, it's always this. That's why I'm going.
And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. You know, it's sad that many in the black community, you feel that the white power brokers that are in power love you, they care for you, they want the very best for you. And you, what they do and what they aren't doing is using Negroes who want to have their own agendas served, those who are ambitious, those who will accept the crumbs that falls from the master's table. They're using these individuals to come into various black communities, not just in Memphis, but all around this country. Present with me is Miss Lucille Catron. Lucille is the widow of the late Randall Catron. She is presently, in fact, after his death, he was the previous president of the Beale Street Development Corporation. Now she serves in that capacity. Ms. Lucille, glad to have you on the show.
thank you, Mr. Thaddeus.
And you're going to talk up just a little bit for me,
But this heavy
because they ain't got but one mic.
I don't have a problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Thaddeus, for having me.
How did the Beale Street Development Corporation come into play?
Well, in 1973, the organization was formed, and their first purpose and mission, they developed not only sought and received the funds for 380 Bill. In 1973, that was $1 million project.
Okay,
Downtown had no development whatsoever in 2 decades, and it was named Muhammad Ali Theater.
okay,
Back there in the early 70s. The men were successful. Muhammad Ali would come 3 times a year. And after that total success, those men focused their attention on Beale Street.
so the first venture was 380 Bill. Back in that day, it was known as the Muhammad Ali Town 2 Cinema.
Yes, sir.
Way back
Yes,
in
sir.
the 70s.
Mhm.
So when the Beale Street Development Corporation got the funding for that end of Beale Street,
$1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million loan that Beale Street Development Corporation, George Miller, Randall, paid in full $1 million. That was it was more like $1 million, almost 2 with the interest.
Okay.
But we paid that loan in full to
Okay.
the state. Yes, we did.
So then that group of individuals decided that they wanted to revitalize Beale Street.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how did that all come into play?
Well, like I said, 380 Bill was successful. And so once they eyed Beale Street, and you have to realize that they was intelligent men.
Okay.
And so they put their plan together and presented that plan to the mayor of Memphis,
And those why?
Y. Chandler.
Okay.
And while Chandler, they went to him 2 or 3 times, and he laughed. He told them, well, if you go out there and get the monies, then Beale Street is yours. He really did not feel that those men were capable
Okay,
of being able to achieve such a mission.
okay,
But those men went out there and they kept going to Washington. It's not like it happened overnight.
okay,
They kept going back and forth until they turned their spigot on in Washington, D.C.
okay,
And once they turned their spigot on, they received first $1.3 million.
okay,
That 1.3 turned into $3.8 million.
uh-huh,
And it kept until it got to a grand total of $23 million.
okay,
So while Chandler realized now what the city of Memphis had promised, the city of Memphis had put in black and white
okay,
what, now it was 2 leases. The first lease was in the 70s.
okay,
And the city promised what they would do.
uh-huh,
But the federal government, each time they would come to Memphis
mm-hmm,
and to visit Beale Street Development Corporation, they realized that the city of Memphis, you made a promise.
mm-hmm,
But so far, we have not seen any action. You have not put any funding on the table
okay,
as you promised.
uh-huh,
So they mandated that the city of Memphis, you're going to give them for their works. First of all, you're going to give them property
mm-hmm,
as in kind, which Lieutenant Lee, where the FedEx Forum is at,
mm-hmm,
that was Beale Street Development Corporation's property
okay,
that we gave for the building of the FedEx Forum
right.
that we signed off on.
Because I told Randall he was crazy.
Yes, sir.
I told Randall,
Yes, sir.
because you all were owed thousands
Yes, sir.
of dollars. Dale, come fix this, I messed it up. You all were owed thousands, and not just little thousands,
No,
but
sir.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes, sir.
And I told Randall, and I remember sitting upstairs in his office, I said, man, you're a damn fool. Ain't no way in the hell I'd sign off to let them build the FedEx Forum,
Yes.
and they owe you all of the money that they owe you. And the important part that the audience needs to understand, after the contracts were put in place by the federal government,
Yes, sir.
there was nothing that could be built on Beale Street without the signature of Randall Catron or whoever was the president
Yes, sir.
at that time.
Absolutely
When the
correct.
Western Hotel was built, Randall Catron had to sign off on that.
Yes.
And I told Randall, I said, man, they better be glad they got you. Because if it was me, they'd give me my money and then we build us a FedEx Forum.
Yeah.
But the reason, ladies and gentlemen, and most of you will not hear this anywhere else. The reason that you have today a FedEx Forum downtown Memphis is because of the Beale Street Development
Yes, sir.
Corporation. Had Randall said no, it could not have been built because, and correct me if I'm wrong, all of that historic Beale Street area, the historic Beale Street district belongs to the city of Memphis and to your corporation.
Yes, yes, sir. You are correct. Yes, sir.
So, after you all got the $23 million, why is it that Randall, George Miller, James Smith,
Yes.
who else was?
Reverend E.W. with, you had Reverend E.W. Williamson, you had Judge James Swearingen.
Okay,
You had Judge Otis Higgs. You had a list that was involved prior. but on my watch, that's who we was up under, the
Okay.
leadership of those men.
Okay,
And mind you, Peabody Place was a part and is a part of our master lease.
so wait a minute,
Peabody.
so Peabody
Yes,
Place.
sir.
So Beale Street Development Corporation
Yes, sir.
had to sign off on the Peabody.
Peabody is still in our master lease right now, that the city tried to include for us to sign off on to make it the city's property.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I said the federal government mandated,
Okay.
it's in the mandate of the federal government that Lieutenant Lee,
Uh-huh,
BSDC, Peabody Place, BSDC,
Okay.
right today, Peabody Place is still within our master lease right today.
so the boundaries of the historic district go up to what?
It goes from Fourth to Second, Peabody, then Lieutenant Lee. If you split that FedEx Forum in half,
Uh-huh,
that would be the portion that belonged to Beale Street Development Corporation.
Okay.
So you would have had half of the FedEx Forum
okay,
if we did not give up Lieutenant Lee.
okay,
Yes.
okay,
So
okay,
that was all. The federal government mandated that. The mayor of Memphis signed off on that. The federal government was not going to proceed any further without the city putting that in writing.
So, after that happened, how did John Elkington, who was the law clerk
Yes,
for Wyatt Chandler,
yes, sir.
how did he become the manager of Beale Street versus the Beale Street Development Corporation?
Well, now, like I said prior, we had some very intelligent men and still do. When our George Miller, he had aligned himself with a manager for Beale.
Okay,
And the mayor, everyone knew all about that.
okay,
But when it came time for them, see, that was too much power.
uh-huh,
So what they did, they made it a conflict. It hit the papers day after day after day. Carl Sledrick was
Okay.
to be the manager for Beale Street, along with George Miller.
okay.
It became a conflict. The mayor said he could not do that.
And what was the mayor's reason for not allowing Carl Slevitz to be the manager?
Well, it was conflict because George Miller was involved.
Okay,
Okay, George and Mr. Carl was going to oversee Beale Street.
okay,
And the mayor, and it was like that for over a year.
Okay.
But when it was time to actually sign the documents,
Uh-huh.
the mayor had his agenda.
Okay.
And that agenda was John Elkington.
okay,
So he didn't want Carl or George Miller to be the managers of Beale Street.
Mhm.
So, of course, the newspapers beat Mr. Miller down, not so much as Carl, but Mr. Miller, because he was part of Beale Street Development Corporation.
okay,
So if you got a master lease to the entirety of Beale Street,
uh-huh,
with the exception of a swab,
okay,
and then yet you're gonna manage it at the same time,
okay,
that would have been too much power.
okay,
So they create this front like George Miller, you done created a conflict of interest, you can't do that. So he had to back up.
okay,
He had to back up. And that's how John Elkington worked for Mayor Wyatt Chandler.
okay,
And so Mayor Wyatt Chandler told, and would come to the meetings, we have documentation. He would come to the meeting and he felt like John was a good fit.
uh-huh,
And with John, we felt like we kind of vetted him a little bit to see. And he got letters, he was going to follow our lead. So, okay, we knew we had him bound by the four corners of the lease, that sublease we signed to him.
okay,
We had him bound. But once everything was fine, Mr. Thaddeus, until the dollars start coming in. Once the dollars start coming in, that's when the game started. And that's when we telling the mayor, money is short.
Okay,
We're not seeing any residuals from our works.
so how was the contract set? How was the money that was coming in off of Beale Street? And I'm talking about basically the rents and the events that were taking place on Beale Street. How was that supposed to be divided?
The four corners of our master lease is
Oh.
specific. And when we signed Mr. Elkington's sublease, see, he's up under us.
Okay,
We, in essence, we hired him.
okay,
So his contract is specific as well. So, Mr. Elkington, we want you to manage the street. Now, you have to remember that period where racism was all-time high. We was wanting to bring the races together.
okay,
But our primary mission is to make sure that African Americans,
uh-huh,
we're gonna create this equal playing field for us.
okay,
And we included you, that's in our mission statement. It's not like it's racism or prejudice. We want to include you. And so, Mr. Elkington is to, per his contract agreement, he is to rent property.
uh-huh,
From renting property, he is to take out his monies that it costs to operate every month.
okay,
Take out your money, Mr. Elkington. We
Uh-huh.
know what's coming in.
uh-huh,
And then you give the rest of the monies to BSDC, because we hold the master lease.
okay,
We in control now.
okay.
Take your little budget out,
Okay.
send the remaining dollars to BSDC.
So, he rent the space, he take out his percentage
Yes,
or his commission for
Yes.
his work.
yes.
Then the rest of that money
Come
was supposed to be turned over,
to BSDC, to us, to
and
Beale Street
then you
Development.
give the city
The
their part.
remainder, right, whatever our budget were to be for that month. And then we take out our budget and then submit the remaining dollars to the city of Memphis.
So did y'all ever get y'all money?
And not $1. Factly, Mr. Elkington, after he come and tell the city of Memphis, the mayor, that we owed him. Well, what do we owe you for? Well, y'all owe me $1 million. It went from 1 million to 3 million. So that's what held it up for so long, because the city, our contract states, City of Memphis, Beale Street Development Corporation, if any issues happen on Beale Street
Uh-huh,
regarding, any issues, you both join together and you fight it together. What the city did, instead of joining with us, who has the master lease in hand,
uh-huh,
they joined with Mr. Elkington and sided with Mr. Elkington. Mind you, Mr. Thaddeus, Mr. Elkington, he would present to the city his accounting, and we telling the mayor his accounting is in error. It's
Uh-huh.
wrong.
uh-huh,
It's way off. But the mayor aligned himself with John Elkington.
okay,
And only until we got in that courtroom, Mr. Thaddeus, after all the years, Mr. Elkington, CPA, or that's what he said he had, when they asked him about the accounting, the CPA was not a CPA. Now, the city done agreed, done sided with Mr. Elkington.
okay.
Y'all have to pay Mr. Elkington before you receive any money. Now, we
Okay.
have not received one dime.
So, wait a minute, look, and I think this needs to be clear,
Yes,
that the Beale Street Development Corporation never received one
$1 from a $23 million project, not $1. John Elkington was keeping all the dollars
Uh-huh.
for himself. And when we subpoenaed the records, his accountant, his CPA was not a CPA. He was just a numbers man.
Okay.
And he testified, Mr. Thaddeus, that he put whatever Mr. Elkington told him to put down. That's in
He
his
testified.
He is in a deposition in the courtroom right now. That whatever Mr. Elkington told him to put down, whatever numbers, figures, that's what he put down. But the city believed Mr. Elkington instead of believing us.
So he did not have to show this numbers guy, no documentation.
Oh, no, no.
What do you think, how much money do you think that Beale Street brings in?
Beale Street brings in $50 million per year.
Do what now?
$50 million from the works of Beale Street Development Corporation.
Wait a minute now.
Oh, yeah.
Beale Street brings in $50 million a year.
Per year,
And Beale Street has been active now since what year?
since we made the first profit in '91.
So $50 million.
Yes, sir.
How many years is that? That's a whole bunch of years.
A whole bunch over, is 30, is it not now? Not 30.
So, and you
25.
you've never received one dime of the money.
No, sir, not one dime. He was using Beale Street money to fight us with in the courtroom. John Elkington. We did not receive any monies whatsoever. And he used Beale Street money, our Beale Street money, to fight us in the courtroom. He hired the best of lawyers with money that he owed.
I guess if you take it in $50 million a year,
Oh, yes.
and you're not having to be accountable to anyone but yourself.
Yes, sir.
So, when y'all wasn't getting none of the $50 million a year,
Mhm.
who did y'all talk to?
Well, we was constantly, my husband, the city of Memphis received so many letters, Mr. Thaddeus, from my husband Randall Catron, letting the city know how egregious that Mr. John Elkington was doing on Beale Street. And the city ignored us each time, each letter that was sent, we received a letter back from the city that stating that they agreed with Mr. Elkington. They agreed with his accounting.
So that's 28 years times 50 million. How much is that there? You've been to college. And you got a calculator over there?
Beale Street itself makes 50 million. Beale Street, John Elkington was collected in rent and rental fees and other fees that he involved himself. He was making probably 3 to 4 million as rental payments.
Okay.
Yeah, but Beale Street itself generates over 50 million per year.
You all were in court many, many times.
Yes, sir.
You all had a lawyer by the name of John Candy.
Yes, sir.
I told Randall some years ago, when I'd see that little white man walk in y'all office, because he'd always look at me cross-eyed. I told Randall, you can't trust that white boy. It's something about him that's crooked. And I think now that you all have found out that he was working against you all the time.
Yes, sir.
Because I used to wonder, I said, how is it that the city can stay one step ahead of you? But if your lawyer, John Candy, is crooked, then I guess you can't win.
I must agree with you, Mr. Matthews. I must agree. Yes, sir.
Is that 1,400,000,000,000? I mean, 1,400,000,000. It's a whole lot of money.
It's a lot of money,
It's a lot of money.
yes.
And you all have missed your shares of the money. What about the city council? Did you ever go to the city council and ask them to get involved?
I went, right after my husband's death, when I realized all these fraudulent actions going on, I went before the council and I let them know what was going on Beale Street and what was going on with BSDC.
Uh-huh.
And, Mr. Allen Wade, the attorney,
Uh-huh.
he said at the city council meeting that the train has left the station. In other words, it's no going back, it's nothing really could be done about it. Now, I must give Jamita Swearingen, I must give Martavius Jones and Edmund Ford Jr.
Uh-huh.
Because they was on it. But when Allen Wade spoke those words, he is the council's attorney.
Uh-huh.
And he was saying like, it's nothing could be done. And I spoke right there at council meeting and I told Mr. Wade
Uh-huh.
that if a man can sign documents in a coma, I'm scared.
Well, let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. Okay, I don't know who that is from Whitesville, Tennessee. Keep calling me. You ain't got nothing I want to talk about. You are presently in court.
Yes, sir.
You're suing who?
We, of course, with the city of Memphis, because the city of Memphis aligned themselves with Mr. Elkington. Our master lease contract is specific,
Okay.
so it's like the city is in a catch-22. Until Beale Street makes any money, and John Elkington was saying Beale made no money,
Uh-huh.
then city of Memphis, because this corporation that went out there and caused Beale Street to be in existence, then you gonna have to pay them $15,000 a month.
Uh-huh.
And that is to be revisited. Now, that was signed in 1982. That must be revisited every 2 years. And today's dollars, that's right at almost $40,000 a month that we are to receive from the city of Memphis. Because John Elkington said that they didn't make no money. That's what he wrote. He said they didn't make no money, didn't pay the city, did not pay us. So, city of Memphis, the federal government mandate that you got to take care of them until they receive some monies. And the city has never paid us a dime. Never paid us a dime. And so that's where we at in the courtroom with the city of Memphis.
Before we come back to that,
Yes.
I remember back in the day when Randall was active on Beale Street,
Yes, sir.
that the city of Memphis would send code inspectors
Yes.
into the Daisy and into your office space upstairs to find any type of reason to close you down.
Yes, sir. Oh, that touched my heart. I'm sorry. Yes, sir, they did that.
This socket ain't right. This
Yes, sir.
plug don't look, the covering on this socket is not right.
Wouldn't let us get beer license. No, nothing. They just,
So how did you and Randall and the organization, how did you survive all of these years without receiving the funds that were due from you from Beale Street?
my lawyer got it right here. it's just hanging on by a vine. Randall with little funds that he could make, remember now, Randall was selling food. He was
Okay.
trying to sell food.
Right,
And I had the clothing store, the boutique.
right,
And so we just had to subsidize Beale Street from the office. And I mean, these are not small bills, Mr. Thaddeus.
okay,
These are major, major bills.
okay,
And so the store, every dollar I could make from selling a suit,
okay,
or if he could get out there and sell food, that's what we did.
okay,
Because we had no help, and right today, it's basically the same thing.
okay, okay.
We just,
And many of you will remember Lucille's Boutique on, what's that?
on Lamar,
On Lamar, right across from Pressure World.
yes.
And many a days they were out with the grill,
Yes.
making sandwiches.
Mhm.
She was selling high-end women clothing in there. Then when you go down the Beale Street, it took you a long time to even get a liquor license, right?
Liquor license, beer license, they had a red flag.
Okay,
And if it was not for subpoenaing, one of the, persons that's within that, for your license, and he told, my husband, he said, Mr. Catron, they got you red flag. He said, that's why you can't get anything.
okay.
And that's when we threatened to sue regarding the liquor license, because that we could not get anything.
So how did you finally get the license?
We was threatening lawsuit, because
Okay.
we had recorded, I know his first name was Larry. We had recorded him saying that we was flagged on everything. And once we had that information, we was getting ready to sue.
Okay,
And once he realized that his position was online,
okay,
and then that's when we was able to get beer license, apply for liquor license, and all the necessary business license that we needed.
so that was an orchestrated effort by the city of Memphis to try to run you off of Beale
Oh,
Street?
yes, sir, yes, sir. They would come and I'm not trying to disparage anyone, but Ricky P, we would, we could only sell liquor with a special permit for Memphis and Mayoral.
Okay,
And Ricky P would send someone down there.
okay,
And like we playing this type music, or we would get letters like we was just doing everything wrong, and we just had to deal with it. Because that is, I would see my husband on the side of the bed at nighttime, because they would send all these entities down there and flood us at one time.
okay.
I want to see this license. Do you have that? And it would overwhelm him. But I must say that I don't know where he got a lot of that tenacity from, because he would jump back up in the morning and go at it again. Although they would knock him down, he would get right back up. And so that's what Randall had to deal with. It's been easy for me in many respects, because he made me strong in watching him
Okay,
and what he had to deal with.
okay,
And
okay.
I would not wish that on no human being, the way they did him down on Beale Street. They just didn't want us there. They want total control. No honoring the master lease, no honoring the works of BSDC. Just, okay, we got you, Beale Street is in existence, clubs making $15 million a year off the works of us, and yet you don't want to include us to create this equal playing field. You just greed. It's as simple as that, just greed.
All right, we're gonna take a commercial break here. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the thievery that the city of Memphis is trying to perform now. The lies, the collusion that the city of Memphis is involved with right now, and how they say that Randall Catron on his, and I meant to get the picture here today to put it up, but if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see it. How Randall Catron, who was on his deathbed in arm restraints, didn't know he was in the world, on a breathing machine, tubes in and out of his body, how the city of Memphis says that he signed a document giving them control. We'll talk about it more right after these commercial messages.
Hi, you've reached 1-901-401-6947. Please leave your message after the tone.
I'm trying to see who the fuck this is that keep calling me in the middle of my damn show from Whiteville, Tennessee. Hello?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Who is this? Who the fuck is this that keep calling me in the middle of my show? Who the fuck is this? Man, fuck you. Man, take your faggot, real faggot sounding ass somewhere and go and kiss your grandmother's ass. Man, fuck you. All right. How many more I got? Huh? All right. This the last one? Huh? Yeah, come back, bring me back on this. No, bring me back on this, after this. Okay. And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. We're talking about the corruption that goes on in politics here in the city of Memphis. And it's massive. It's massive corruption that is going on in the city. That's the reason that it is so important that we bring back the right leadership in the mayor's office and all of these other offices. We're losing. We're losing because there is deep corruption that is running roughshod in this city. Let me throw out an advertising promotion that's only for tonight and tomorrow. Normally, a read commercial on this show is $750 a month. I will give three businesses, a read, in fact, I just give it to anybody, read commercial through the end of the year for $2,500. $2,500. That's through the end of the year, through December, 31st. A read commercial on this show. You got to call me tonight or tomorrow and have your Montees, and we can do business. Here's what I'll do, even tonight for two businesses. On a visual commercial, they run $1,500 a month. Here's what I'll do tonight. Through the end, 15 times 7 is what, Dale? Don't be looking at me like that. Hell, you've been to school. Your mama make sure you got 3 degrees. What?
What'd you say?
1,500 times 7 months left in the year.
10,500.
That's who?
10,500.
10,500. I'll let you have a visual commercial through the end of the year for $5,000. $5,000, and I'll pay for the production. That's tonight. Y'all can call me when I get off there at the 231-9239 number, or if you got my other number, you can call me on that. That's only for tomorrow. So if you got 5,000, I ain't got my full 5,000. If you got $2,000 down on it, and we work out the other part of it in 2-3 weeks, we can work with that. But on the $2,500, you got to have that now. You ain't no need, you have no business, you ain't got no $2,500. And you need to advertise, so you can call me on the 901-231-9239. That is not for politicians, that's for business. Okay, let's get back into this.
Yes, sir.
You're presently in a lawsuit. Randall died in
July 2015.
July of 2015. The city now says that they have control of the leases. They say that they have a signed document
Yes,
signed by Randall Catron on February the 3rd, 2015. And I wish I had time and thought about making sure that picture was in the system. But it's on my Facebook pages. On February the 3rd, 2015, what happened?
Randall had just got out of the hospital, that Sunday prior to February the 3rd.
Okay.
He was in there for a couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
And he had been home that Sunday, early that morning, had to rush him back.
Okay.
He could not breathe. And mind you, my husband had amputations. So with all this surgery and the amputations, he had set up severe sepsis.
Okay.
And it was basically to the bone.
Okay.
And he was just, with all the medication, he was just a walking zombie. He really was. I mean, I had to give him medication morning, noon, night. Plus, the wounds would not heal. It's some atrocious pictures that I could show you, Mr. Thaddeus, of my husband.
Mhm.
So he was rushed to the hospital that morning.
February the 3rd.
February the 3rd. I have the ambulance report to show that he could not sign. The ambulance had to sign. Got him inside the hospital. I got the doctor's report. Got the hospital's report. And see, they had to intubate him. They had to put him in a coma because he could not breathe.
Okay.
And he was just like anybody would when they not breathing. They tend to fight or try to. His body was moving. And
They put him in
I thought
arm
it was-
restraints.
Yeah, they put him in arm restraints, and then they put him in a coma.
Okay.
To try to keep him living because he was in bad shape.
Okay.
He was just in bad shape, and the family was all out there. Some of the board of directors come running out there.
Uh-huh.
And so Mr. John Candy, the corporate attorney, called me.
Uh-huh.
And when he called, I let him know. I said, well, Randall's been rushed to the hospital. It does not look good. And Mr. Candy, I mean, he made it out there like zip.
Okay.
And truly, I thought it was out of concern. I mean, he'd been in our corporate office for 15 years.
Like his office.
His office, it's in our office. He did not pay any rent, we paid all that. We even purchased office supplies. Lucille's Boutique and my husband, we provided all that for the corporate office. Mr. Candy, he did not he didn't pay for anything.
Uh-huh.
And so, I'm thinking that it's out of concern, you know, and, that's touching. But it was not out of concern. He had, ulterior motive for his reasoning being out there. And so.
What happened when you got there?
Well, when he got there, I'm thinking that he there for my husband. So, but it's documented that he wanted Randall to sign some papers, and I told Mr. Cannon he's not. The doctors was working with Randall.
Give me the part about him in the room.
He's in the room. And
By himself?
I'm there.
Okay.
And I'm seeing the condition of my husband, and John Candy said, well, he needs to sign some papers. He needs to sign some papers. And I said, well, what papers? I didn't know, first of all, that he had papers.
Okay.
And so when he pulled some papers out of his coat, because it was kind of chilly. He had a coat on.
Uh-huh.
And so when I got a chance to see the paperwork, I became combative because my husband could not breathe. He's sitting there fighting for his life, and you trying to get him to sign some papers. And so I got the papers. I took the papers out of his hand, and I ran for help. And when I ran to get to security, Mr. Candy was coming out, and he told me that Randall had signed, and I knew better. I knew
Okay.
because
He was in a coma.
They was intubating him then.
Okay.
They was intubating him then, so he was full of everything. They was trying to calm him down. He could not breathe.
Okay.
And so the nurses was working with him to try to put him in a coma.
Okay.
And John Candy going to circumvent that. And matter of fact, Mr. Candy told me in my face, Mr. Thaddeus, that he would call the police on me.
For what?
Because I'm protecting my husband. It's all documented. It's all in court records. He will call the police on me for protecting my husband. And that's when I knew I had to get help, because it was like he was a crazed man. I was ready to fight him. I was. And when I ran to get help, he was walking out the door. And when I stopped him, I realized that document that I had, because I took that document out of his hand.
Okay.
I mean, we would have had serious action at Methodist Central.
Okay.
But when I reached and grabbed the document, you better give me that back. And I said, you gonna take it. And so about that time, security came, and he left. But that was the signature document that I had taken.
Okay.
That was a signature document, so I don't know his standing right today. I know either him or somebody with the city signed that. We know that, because it could not have been Mr. Catron. But Mr. Candy, he stands on it, but I think that he didn't hung himself. I don't think, I know. I just claim that. He really did.
But you hired an expert handwriting examiner.
Forensic
Forensic.
handwriting expert, yes, sir.
And he went through the paperwork,
Yes,
and his verdict came back as what?
that is not Randall, my husband's signature. He went through checks, he went through other documentation, legal documentation, to compare the signature.
In fact, let me see if I can read it.
Mhm.
His name was Thomas Vastrick,
Yes,
out of the state of Florida, county Seminole. And it says, Thomas W. Vastrick, being first duly sworn under oath, deposes and testifies as follows. 1, I am of legal age and I am competent to testify to the conclusions stated herein. I am a forensic document examiner in private practice with offices in the greater Orlando, Florida, and Memphis, Tennessee areas. I have been a forensic document examiner for over 38 years. I received my training from the U.S. Postal Inspection Service Crime Laboratories through a full-time in-residence 2-year training program. I am certified through testing by the American Board of Forensic Document Examiners. I have written and published numerous original research papers, 1 textbook, and was a contributing author to 2 other textbooks. I am a member of the American Society of Question Document Examiners, the Question Document section of the American Academy of Forensic Science, and the Southwestern Association of Forensic Document Examiners. So it seems like he ought to know what he's doing.
he know what he's doing.
So he comes back. Let me see if I can find. You ain't got that in big writing over there. I got it. I have just do it in this little. here's what he said, here's his affidavit. He says, I was requested to examine the signature entries in the name of Randall Catron on a copy of the signature page of one agreement dated March 22, 2015. For comparison purposes, I was provided copies of known signature specimens of Randall Catron, consisting of one, last will and testament of Randall Catron, dated February 24, 2014, two, appointment of healthcare agent, dated February 24, 2014, Social Security card, Shelby County voters registration card, Tennessee identification card, Medicare health insurance card, Walmart identification card, resolution dated December 12, 2007, and seven personal checks dated in March and April 2003. He says, based on the comparative examination utilizing published standard methodologies, it is the conclusion and opinion of the applicant to a high degree of probability that the signature entries in question on the agreement were not written by the writer of the submitted known specimens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He did not sign that. No, sir.
So, Ms. Lucille, when you go to the city and you speak to the city's attorney,
The mayor,
you spoke to the mayor.
Mayor Jim Strickland, yes, sir.
So when you went to see Mayor Jim Strickland,
Barbara, Representative Barbara Cooper, my attorney, the city attorneys, and we all met up in at the office, City Hall. And my attorney presented the entire presentation to show what had happened, item by item. And the mayor said that he would check into it.
Uh-huh.
Nothing has been done. It's been 4 years since my husband's death, and absolutely nothing but litigation in the courtroom. And this is the latest, Mr. Thaddeus.
okay, now what is this doc?
This- Okay.
Let me dwell here a minute.
Yes, sir.
We know that we have a document. The document, he came to the hospital on February 3rd. Document is signed in March.
The document signed at the city's, the document is February the 3rd, same day.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so we know Randall, there's no way. And when I looked at the picture that you sent me and you gave me permission to post,
Yes, sir. I did.
I looked at Randall because I knew him in his well days.
Yes, sir.
I looked at him laying there, basically in a vegetated state.
He was. He truly was.
His
know his
arms
name.
were tied down, Miss Lucille.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
He didn't know his name, Mr. Davis. He did not know his name. He did not know his name. He was in bad shape. We didn't expect him to. He was strong, but he couldn't fight that. He just couldn't fight it. And for them to do him like that was so hurtful.
Let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
You do that, do him like that, Mr. Davis. I'm sorry, Mrs. Evans.
What's up, Rico? T, how many more? All right, when we come back, bring me, I'm gonna talk about the church and the, thing. Bring me up the PayPal and Cash App thing.
Okay. How many more you said you had?
Huh?
How many more commercials you got?
One, what's up?
Your girls made good grades on the ACTs.
What's it?
Diamond got a 26, and Imani got a 23.
Write it down for me real quick. Is them good grades?
Yes.
Okay.
Say, please.
And welcome back to the Thaddeus Matthews Show. I'm inviting you as parents to make sure this Saturday from 10 until 12 o'clock that you have your daughters and your sons at our mentoring program. We started the boys mentoring for ages 6 to 17 and the girls from 12 to 21. And I want to congratulate Diamond and Imonte, two of our girls in the girls mentoring class, on their ACTs. Diamond got a 26 and Imonte got a 23. And they're also members of the church. So I am proud of you girls, and with all that you all have went through in the last year, I am really, really proud of you. And I appreciate Dale and Erica and Claudia, Latanya, Lisa. Am I leaving anybody out? For working with these girls, because some of these girls came up, they was messed up from the flow up with their attitudes. Didn't one of the girls get a job today?
Yes, she wanted
Huh?
Yes, she did.
Which
Nyasia.
one? Which one was that?
Nyasia.
Who? Asia. Yeah, she one of them 70s babies. Asia's one when you come up with them kind of names there. Asia. Asia got a job at FedEx. Nike, same thing, working. So we're proud of what is going on in our mentoring program, and we want to do the same things with the boys mentoring. If you would like to donate to it, and I ain't gonna go through all I went through last night, you know whether you think it's worthwhile or not, put it up there for me, T. If you would like to donate to what we're trying to do in bringing a change about in our children, there it is, Cash App, $ Naked Truth Ministries, or paypal.me/help support group. That's what it is. Leave it up there for a few minutes. Somebody might be touched by the Spirit, the giving Spirit. Leave it up there for a minute. Those of you who would like to advertise on the Thaddeus Matthews Show, I've given a hell of a deal. My advertising for a visual commercial runs $1,500 a month. I got a special for tomorrow only. Tomorrow only. 1,500 times 7,000, 8, 9, 10,000, 10,500, man. Yeah, 10, okay, 10,500. I'm gonna give it to you for $5,000. That's through the end of the year, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all that. Those of you who would like to have a Reed commercial, that normally runs $750 a month times 7. I forgot what it was, but I'm gonna give it to you for $2,500. $2,500. Now you got to have the whole 25. On the 5,000, I'll take 15 down, and we'll figure out the payments on that. Then we can get your advertising stop. Y'all can't do that with the white peoples, but you can do it with me. But anyway, if you'd like to contribute to our mentoring program, then there it is. I'm gonna let it stay there on the desk. Miss Lucille, it is, and tell them quit all that loud talk and come down that hall, because I can hear it on air. It's a shame that this is going on with you, that the city council has not stepped in. The black city council attorneys had trained and left the station. So when do y'all go back to court on this?
Court dates are, they secured the court dates now. Most recent, 3 weeks ago, the city of Memphis, if you read this, Mr. Thaddeus, they sent the judge, and I will, the bottom highlighted right there. I want you to read.
Now, what was this lawsuit here about?
The city of Memphis went before a judge and told the judge that another judge okayed for them to dismiss all our cases. Now, we got cases in Chancery Court, and I want you to read this just briefly so you could see. This is we got two and, we got a total of 3, but read that. Now, that's against John Candy, the attorney.
This is for complaint for breach of contract for
Right.
conspiracy to injure business by breach of contract and causing breach of contract for disgorgement of attorney fees and other equitable and ancillary, I guess that's what that is, relief. Now, what is this?
That is, the ones that, the city attorney is involved. It's like a conspiracy, the city attorney, and you got outlined what the city attorney wrote on paper and email.
Okay.
Concerning Beale Street. It's like we got to take it by any means necessary. Now, he didn't put that, this just pretty much in the email. And but what they did, they went before the judge, and they was being
It says the city wants control of its street and future.
Yes.
There is no point in debating the master's sublease and master lease or the past. Similarly, issues of performance and breach of the master lease may ultimately be presented and resolved. If the settlement agreement herein is approved by Judge Latta, the bankruptcy judge, and Beale Street Historic District will at least in the short term, not long term, be operated by the city.
Right.
No one denies or marginalizes the role of BSDC in the 1970s and early 1980s here in Arthur Fletcher, or whatever that is. So are we basically saying that the city lied to the
The
judge?
city went and lied before the judge, and this is the actual court, this is the filing by our attorney.
Y'all new attorney.
The new attorney, and so what you had in front of the judge, the city order and BSDC our order. The judge said he would read and he will decide. Well, he ruled in our favor that in essence the city went before the judge and they lied to the judge. They sent the judge not formal document, they sent him a letter
Okay,
attached with a judgment.
okay.
So they was trying to circumvent the court system.
So they just full of
Yes,
fraud
and
forgery.
this is what this is saying.
Do you think that the city of Memphis is trying to do you like they did in Randall and wear you down?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But this judge here, we've secured in court dates now. We moving forward. We moving forward, and I know that's what they're trying to do. They wore Randall down until his death. You know, and they know what they did to him, Mr. Thaddeus.
I don't think they even sent a flower.
No, they did not. They did not.
I would agree, man.
No.
The city did not send a flower.
They did not. They wore him down. I mean, and you know, it's sad. It's sad the way that they did Randall, and it's no understanding. It's no making sense that just because we an African American corporation and we cause such an entity to be in existence such as Beale Street, and then we to this day probably the only African American entity in this city, in the state of Tennessee, that caused such a major redevelopment that to this day generates $50 million a year because of us. And to say that you don't want to pay us, you don't want to honor our contract, you don't want to recognize that it's like shoe fly. You African Americans, you could do the work, but we don't think you're smart enough to do anything else.
But see, here's the other thing that I don't understand, even with
Yes, sir.
Strickland being in office, and we have a majority black city council,
Yes, sir.
okay? Even though Alan Wade has said that the train has left the station,
Mhm.
the council has the power,
Yes, sir.
okay? The black city council members have the power to bring the train back to the
Yes,
station.
sir, with the stroke of a pen. And
Okay.
I'm going to send them this to show, let them see how the city is constantly being egregious to lie to a city judge. And it's just time. It's just time. If they don't feel like an African American corporation worthy, then maybe they not worthy.
Well, I think that you need to send that picture of Randall
Yes, sir.
in that coma,
Mhm.
in hand restraints, not knowing that he's in the world. I think every council member, the black ones and the white ones,
Yes.
I think that you need to send them the picture so that they can see you've got a document before you that is signed February 3rd, 2015 by a man that's in a coma.
Yes, sir.
He's in an induced coma. His hands are restrained. How did he do this?
Yes, sir.
See, and here's what I say, and I keep on telling us, we keep electing folk that don't give a damn about us. This black city council has the power right now, tomorrow, to deal with this.
Yes.
Jim Strickland wants black votes. He wants to be supported by black folk. And I was talking to some candidates last week and they talk about these ballots and things. And I told them any black candidate that I see on a Jim Strickland ballot, I'm dogging their ass out. Now some things, it's just time for us to stop accepting. Anybody that I see, any black candidate that I see on a ballot of Jim Strickland, I'm gonna know that you're a sellout. I know that you are attaching yourself to this white man because you think this white man has the power to save you. But then when I look at what he's doing or allowing to take place with this black woman, and Randall was a personal friend of mine.
Yes.
And Randall and I would talk about what was going on Beale Street, how they were trying to run him off. But then I would look at campaign time, and I would see that the Beale Street Merchants Association
Yes, sir.
was giving every black city councilman campaign funds.
Yes, sir.
So the Negroes that were on the council turned their head to what was going on. I always said when Ricky was the president of the Beale Street Merchants Association and also on the city council, that was a conflict.
It was definitely a conflict.
So where do we go from here?
Well, we are now, we are closer now than ever before. We was in court last time and Mr. John Elkington filed bankruptcy a day before trial. A day.
He did what?
He filed bankruptcy. Ask Mr. Ricky Wilkins, he filed, we ready for trial, all the documentation going, court date, a day before trial, Mr. Elkington filed bankruptcy. That halted everything. Once he filed bankruptcy, we could no longer pursue him in Chancery Court because we knew the documentation it spoke for itself.
Okay,
It showed that he had stolen $10 million in 6 years.
okay.
So he did not want to go to trial for that. So he filed bankruptcy and held it up for 5 years. So then Randall passed. So now we back going toward court now.
So
This
is he
security
still on the
court date.
bankruptcy?
Yes, more than likely. He filed bankruptcy for $43 million.
Is that y'all?
Million.
Is that y'all? money?
Of course, it's some of our money. But them banks that now he was getting loans from banks, he was using Beale Street as security of a
Right,
lot
right.
of it.
I remember
Yes.
doing a story about
Yes,
2003, 2004, I believe it was,
yes,
where we found out that John Elkington was going around to various cities in the
Yes, sir.
Carolinas up north,
yes, sir.
even around New Orleans, and was trying to mimic Beale
Yes,
Street
sir.
in these cities. We found the plans on them, but we found out that the money that was being used for these projects were Beale Street money.
Yes, sir, Beale Street dollars.
If it had
Every
been a
dime.
black man, the FBI, the CIA, the Marines, everybody would have had it.
Of course, of course.
So if you prevail in this hearing, in this court hearing, what happens?
Our master lease, if you read this, and I'm going to send this to council, it clearly states, and the judge read it,
Uh-huh.
that the city is under us. We
Uh-huh.
are the master leaseholders.
Uh-huh.
And now the city are the subleaseholders, because now they got Mr. Elkington's sublease. And so we just wanna move forward. I believe that if people just realize that it takes black and white keys to make anything happen.
Mhm.
You cannot try to control something that really does not belong to you.
Okay.
It's okay in sharing, but we're gonna move forward and prayerfully that we can work together, because that's what it was all about from the beginning, Mr. Thaddeus.
How much time I got left for T? 3 minutes, okay. Let me wrap up these little commercials. You know you're welcome on the show anytime you get ready, Mr. Misallocated. All you gotta do is call me and say you ready to come on.
Thank you.
R&S Appliance Repair, young black man, 33 years of age with 13 years of experience, worked for Best Buy and Sears. Look, he can fix your stove, your garbage disposals, your refrigerators, your microwaves, your dishwashers, your washers and your dryers. Trip and diagnostic fee is $50, which will go into your labor costs and your service price. So, service purchases. If you got anything broke at the house, 901-620-8572. 901-620-8572. Also, DMC Cleaners, black-owned cleaners located at 62 Fairway at 3rd. They're open Mondays through Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Same day service in by 9. You can get your clothes back the same day by 4:30. Also, when you take your dry cleaning to them, you only pay half price. Only half price. They're located again, 62 Fairway, 789-7983. All right, don't forget about D2G screenshots. If you need, just like my little t-shirt here, I'm gonna give Mike Williams one of these, see if he'll wear it. I don't know if he's old enough to wear it. This one here that says, Jim Strickland, get the hell out of our office. You wear it? What size you wear, Mike?
I need a large.
You need a large? What size is this one right here? Cause I wanna see if he'll wear it. He ain't no coward, he from North Memphis. I'm gonna get Mike a shirt. All them union guys down at, the IBW, they got 20 of them. So, but this was made by D2G Screenshots. Love it. You want one, Miss Lucille?
Of course.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give Miss Lucille one, two. Lovely work. Quick turnaround, no minimums required, no screen setups, no color limits, high image. If you can make the picture, if you can snap it, he can put it on a t-shirt. Call him at 279-0434. 279-0434. I got one more and I'm out of here. This is for the ladies with the cooches that don't smell good. All right? They bought this from out of town. Now, they paid me.
Yes, sir.
The lady said cleanliness is next to godliness and organic is always best. So head over to 4, the number 4, Forever Fresh for all of your feminine care needs. If you go to them on Instagram, it's Clean Cat Committee. It's the Clean Cat Committee. A clean cat is always in order. Ain't that right, ladies? Yes, sir. Yes. They said cleanliness is next to godliness. This stuff is so good. It instantly restores your pH, improving your sex. It'll get fertile women pregnant. I don't know, some of y'all may not need none of this here. They got a honey douche that has removed a stubborn case of the HPV. I don't know what the HPV is, but it don't sound like it's something y'all want. Sound like it don't come with an odor. They got a vaginal soap that is now being used as a healing soap on a wide range of skin conditions and problems. So if your skin down there is bad, you need to go to Forever. Damn, I be trying to do this with a straight face. Forever Fresh Feminine Care Products.com. So if you've been having a little odor problem, get you some Forever Fresh. Thank you, Miss Lucille.
Thank you, Mr. Thaddeus.
And
Thank you.
come back. Let me know when you're going to court, because I want to be there for this hearing.
Yes, sir.
I want to see. We know that Jim Strickland is a crook. He has no business in office. Black folk ain't got no business voting for him. And anybody that attached themselves to Jim Strickland, look out. This show is going to be on your ass. All right, gotta go. Michael R. Williams is here in the studio getting ready for his show, Memphis Behind the Badge, brought to you by the men and women of the Memphis Police Association. Okay, so stay tuned for Michael R. Williams. Until tomorrow evening, top of the evening to you.
Thank you, Mr. Thaddeus.